The Middle East war is still ongoing, but among Iran and Israel, there is a Middle Eastern country suffering the most damage. That country is the UAE. Especially in the case of Dubai, it became a ghost city in just 2 weeks. Today, let's take a closer look at this. Let's get right into it. Dubai is a key hub for finance, tourism, and logistics, especially because Dubai is a global financial center and a preferred destination for Western tourists. Dubai took advantage of this by eliminating income tax, capital gains tax, and inheritance tax to attract many foreigners to Dubai. Thanks to this, Dubai was able to draw in a lot of global capital and achieve rapid growth. Especially in the case of Dubai, as I mentioned earlier, taxes are extremely low, so it's known that a lot of billionaires are concentrated there. However, when the Middle East war broke out on February 28, Iran began to specifically target this area. News started pouring in almost daily about missiles and drones striking the area, and the city of billionaires suddenly found itself in the middle of a war zone. More than 2/3 of the retaliatory weapons launched by Iran targeted the UAE. As the attacks focused on the UAE, including Dubai, chaos broke out. Over 1,700 drones alone were concentrated on the UAE. The UAE military succeeded in intercepting a significant number of them, but they failed to intercept all of them. Over 90% were shot down by the UAE air defense network, but even if you consider just 10%, that's about 170 drones that fell in the UAE. As a result, areas near Burj Khalifa were hit by drone attacks, and places like the Dubai International Financial Center were also attacked, causing damage. In addition, 6 people were killed due to the drone attacks. Up to this point, 131 people have been injured. As a result, a rush to escape began within the UAE. It is known that over 90% of Dubai's residents are foreigners, but as these foreigners started to leave, Dubai truly became a ghost city. In Dubai, crowded places like beach bars, shopping malls, and hotels were completely empty. The atmosphere was so eerie that it sent chills down your spine. For your information, Dubai is a city that doesn't have vast oil resources, so it relies heavily on the tourism and financial industries. In fact, its annual tourism revenue alone amounts to about 44 trillion won. However, as Iran focused its attacks on Dubai, the city also suffered massive damage. Also, after all the billionaires left Dubai, migrant workers suddenly lost their jobs and now face a tough struggle to make a living. Dubai is home to around 2 million Indians, 700,000 Nepalese, and 400,000 Pakistanis, along with other migrants working in construction, delivery, and various labor jobs. But because many are low-wage workers, they can't afford to move away from the war. So they ended up staying in Dubai, but with flight prices going up, they can't return to their home countries, and they can't work in Dubai either. Professor Khalid Al-Mazaini of UAE's Zayed University said that so far the UAE economy is holding up, but if this situation continues for another 10 or 20 days, the impact on tourism, aviation, foreign businesses, and oil will become very serious. The problem is that even if the Middle East war ends, the issues that have arisen now won't just naturally disappear. This war has left a very important message for Dubai and the entire UAE because it showed the world that if Iran wants to, it can directly strike the Gulf region at any time. In fact, during this conflict, Iran launched hundreds of missiles and large-scale drone attacks, and a significant number of them were directed toward the UAE. Most of them were intercepted by air defense systems, but people's perceptions have changed greatly. Dubai was seen as a safe, stable city distant from Middle East conflicts, with the belief it would remain unaffected even if war erupted nearby. However, this incident has seriously shaken that confidence. The financial market is especially more sensitive to potential risks than actual damage, which is currently causing the most instability in Dubai. Dubai has leveraged low taxes and a free financial environment to attract global capital. Wealthy Europeans and Asians, along with financial and asset management firms, have made Dubai the Middle East's main financial hub. However, the situation changed when the war broke out. Now, investors have started to factor in geopolitical risks when looking at Dubai. Since financial assets value stability above all else, once an area starts to be perceived as risky, the flow of capital can change. The real estate market is also being affected by this same trend. Luxury real estate in Dubai is mainly used as an investment rather than for living. Wealthy people worldwide buy Dubai's high-rise apartments and beachfront mansions to lower taxes and diversify assets. However, with actual missile and drone attacks occurring, the assessment of the investment environment is changing. This is because real estate in areas with the possibility of war can experience significant price volatility at any time. Some investors have already started to reevaluate the Dubai real estate market, and there are signs that some are moving part of their assets to other regions. This situation is also similar in some ways to the issues that Korea has experienced. Korea is a global manufacturing leader with strong technology, yet remains somewhat undervalued. The reason is the military tension with North Korea. Even if an actual war doesn't break out, the perception that a conflict could happen at any time is reflected in investors' minds. After this incident, Dubai may also face a similar type of risk. Investors must now weigh military tensions with Iran, the risk of Middle East conflict spreading, and the Strait of Hormuz crisis when investing in Dubai. In addition, another important factor is the movement of billionaires. Dubai has one of the highest concentrations of wealthy people globally. Its low taxes, luxury lifestyle, and advanced financial services attract many wealthy individuals to make it their base. When the war began, the wealthy were the first to leave. There are ongoing reports of them using private jets to travel to Europe or Asia. Their departure could greatly affect Dubai's economy. Industries such as luxury hotels, upscale malls, and fine dining largely depend on wealthy individuals' spending. The changes happening in Dubai right now go beyond the temporary shock of war and can be seen as a test of the city's credibility and investment appeal. But there's one thing I'm curious about here. Why did Iran focus its attacks not only on Israel but also on the UAE? Many people are puzzled by this. Israel is the main opponent in the war, so why is the UAE, home to Dubai, suffering so much? The answer lies in the Middle East's military and economic structures. On the surface, the UAE is known for tourism and finance, but from a military perspective, it's one of the key strategic bases for the United States. In fact, there are major bases in the UAE that are used by the US military. Especially near Abu Dhabi, there are military facilities that can be used by the US Air Force and Navy, serving as an important intermediate base for US military forces operating in the Gulf region. Examining supply and equipment routes for the US military in the Middle East shows the UAE's crucial position. For Iran, just putting pressure on these bases can place significant burden on the United States. There's another important factor here: Dubai's role as a financial city. Dubai is home to one of the largest global financial operations in the Middle East. When European and Asian capital enters the Middle East, much of it goes through Dubai, which many Western financial firms and investors use as their regional base. In other words, Dubai is a city where Western influence is concentrated not only militarily, but also economically. So if Iran attacks Dubai, it would not just be attacking a single city, but it could also put pressure on Western capital and influence at the same time. From this view, attacking Israel directly wouldn't significantly increase the war's impact. However, Dubai is a different story because attacking it could cause tension in both the global financial and energy markets at the same time. Currently, Iran's best way to hurt the United States is by causing major economic harm. If the global economy suffers, President Trump's support base will also be affected. Another key factor in this situation is the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important energy transport routes in the world, with a significant portion of the world's crude oil passing through this narrow strait. However, Iran is currently blockading the Strait of Hormuz. Even though the Iranian Navy has been destroyed, they are still maintaining the blockade. This is possible because Iran keeps attacking the UAE and targeting merchant ships in the Strait of Hormuz. In particular, Dubai serves as a key hub for maritime logistics and financial transactions passing through the strait. Therefore, simply attacking or pressuring the UAE can have a significant impact on control over the Strait of Hormuz. Because ships passing through the strait may feel insecure, insurance premiums can skyrocket, and the flow of logistics may shrink. It can also drive oil prices up, making it an opportunity for Iran to retaliate against the United States. This helps explain Iran's attack strategy. By pressuring the UAE, they can threaten US military bases, and by targeting Dubai, destabilize Western capital. They can also increase tensions in the Strait of Hormuz. In short, the UAE holds a strategic position where military, finance, energy, and transportation intersect. That's why the UAE faces more pressure than expected in this war.